Every few days, they're back. Tiny black flies near the windowsill, landing on your coffee cup. Gone the second you swat at them. You spray. You wipe the leaves. For a day or two, it looks like it worked. Then they return, sometimes worse than before. There's a reason for that. One inexpensive kitchen spice may help break that cycle. But only if you understand why it works, and only if you use it correctly. Here's what almost nobody realizes. The flying insects were never really the problem. They're just the part you can see. The real infestation is happening beneath the surface, inside the soil, where eggs are hatching by the hundreds, in a place no spray bottle can reach. That's why sprays seem to work, then fail again. You're treating the symptom, not the source. In a moment, you'll see why commercial growers treat the soil first, not the air, and the one mistake almost every home gardener makes that keeps this cycle going. To understand why this insect is so hard to get rid of, you have to understand what it actually is. The fungus gnat you're seeing is an adult. It's small, dark, and delicate, closer to a fruit fly than a mosquito. And here's the part most people never think about. That adult isn't there to bite you or feed on your plant. Its entire purpose for the 2 to 3 days it survives is to lay eggs. A single female can lay up to 200 of them, not on the leaves, not in the air, directly into the top layer of moist soil. Within days, those eggs hatch into larvae, tiny, translucent, almost invisible against dark potting mix. And this is where the real damage happens. The larvae feed on fungi, algae, and decaying organic matter sitting in the soil. When populations get high enough, they'll also chew on the delicate root hairs your plant depends on to absorb water and nutrients. That's why a heavily infested plant doesn't just look annoying. It starts looking tired, weaker growth, yellowing leaves, a plant that never quite recovers no matter how much you water it. And the life cycle moves fast. Egg to adult can happen in as little as 3 to 4 weeks, depending on temperature and moisture, which means by the time you've killed the adults you can see, the next generation is already developing where you can't. That's the mechanism sprays never account for, and it's exactly where the real solution begins. So if the eggs and larvae are living inside the soil, why does the soil become a breeding ground in the first place? The answer comes down to one condition fungus gnats are built to exploit: consistently moist soil. Female fungus gnats are drawn to moisture. It's how they find a place to lay eggs that won't dry out before hatching. So when the top inch or two of soil stays damp day after day, you're not just watering your plant, you're maintaining ideal nursery conditions for the next generation. This is why overwatering is the single biggest factor behind a fungus gnat problem, even more than the plant itself. A well-draining pot that dries slightly between waterings is inhospitable to eggs. A pot that stays wet, especially one with poor drainage or compacted soil, stays hospitable indefinitely. There's a second piece most people miss entirely: organic matter. Potting mixes with a lot of bark, compost, or decomposing plant material naturally support fungal growth on the surface. That surface fungus is a food source. It's part of what draws gnats in and helps larvae survive once they hatch. Old dead leaves resting on the soil, root debris left over from repotting, even a layer of algae from a plate under the pot. All of it adds fuel. Here's where sprays fall short. A surface spray, even a strong one, kills what it touches on contact. But eggs buried under the soil surface are physically shielded. Larvae feeding an inch down are shielded too. You can eliminate every visible adult in a room and still have a healthy population developing safely underground, completely unaffected. That's the piece most product labels never explain. The infestation was never really at the surface. It was always underneath it. So where does cinnamon actually fit into this picture? Not as a pesticide. It isn't one, and it was never meant to be one. Its role is much more specific. And understanding that role is what separates people who see results from people who dust their soil once and give up. Cinnamon has natural antifungal properties. Researchers have studied cinnamon oil and cinnamon compounds for their ability to suppress certain fungal and mold growth on surfaces. That matters here because of something we already covered. The fungus and organic debris sitting on top of your soil isn't just unsightly. It's food. It's part of what makes a surface attractive to egg-laying females and survivable for newly hatched larvae. When you lightly dust the soil surface with cinnamon, you're making that top layer less hospitable, less surface fungus, a drier, less inviting environment for a female looking for somewhere to lay the next batch of eggs. That's the honest mechanism. It's a surface-level disruption, not a soil-wide extermination. Cinnamon isn't going to reach eggs or larvae already living below the surface, and it isn't going to eliminate a colony that's already established itself deep in the pot, which is exactly why some gardeners notice fewer adult gnats within a day or two. Not because cinnamon killed anything on contact, but because the breeding cycle at the surface has been interrupted. New eggs have a harder time surviving there. Fewer eggs surviving eventually means fewer adults emerging. Real, lasting control takes longer than a day. It takes the surface treatment working alongside something even more important. A habit most people don't realize they're doing wrong every single time they reach for the watering can. Here's the habit. Almost every plant owner does it without thinking. You check the soil. It feels a little dry on top, so you water. But dry on top and dry underneath are two very different things. In a lot of houseplants, especially ones in pots without great drainage, the top quarter inch can dry out completely while the soil an inch below stays damp for days. If you're watering based on what the surface looks like, you may be keeping that deeper layer consistently moist without ever realizing it. And that deeper moist layer is exactly where eggs and larvae are living safest, protected from light, protected from air, and completely out of reach of anything you dust on top. This is a mistake that quietly cancels out cinnamon's benefit. You dust the surface, feel good about it, then water 2 days later because the top looked dry, before the soil ever had a real chance to dry down where it counts. So here's how it's done properly. Take ground cinnamon, the kind sitting in almost every kitchen cabinet, and apply a light, even dusting across the entire soil surface. Not a thick layer. A visible dusting is enough. More isn't more effective. It just sits there and used. Gently work it in with a fork or your fingers if you want it to stay put better after watering. Apply it right after your normal watering, once the surface has had a chance to firm up slightly. From there, let the top inch of soil dry before you water again. For most houseplants, that's checking with a finger a full knuckle deep, not just glancing at the surface. Reapply the dusting every time you water, since watering naturally washes some of it away. Plants that tolerate drying out between waterings, pothos, snake plants, succulents, many ferns, and tropicals respond best to this approach, because letting the soil dry is part of the strategy, not a side effect. Now, how do you know if any of this is actually working? Watching for random gnats fly around is unreliable. A couple could survive from eggs that were already deep in the soil before you started. What commercial growers use instead is yellow sticky traps. The small card or stake kind push 1 inch or 2 into the soil near the base of the plant. Adult fungus gnats are drawn to yellow. Over 1 to 2 weeks, the trap gives you an actual number to track, instead of a guess. If you're catching fewer adults on the trap week over week, the breeding cycle is genuinely being disrupted. If the numbers stay flat, something in the routine needs to change. Usually the watering habit we just talked about. There are a few common mistakes worth naming directly. Applying cinnamon once and expecting it to last for weeks. Watering on a fixed schedule instead of checking the soil first. Leaving decaying leaves or root debris sitting on the surface, which keeps feeding the exact fungal growth cinnamon is trying to suppress. And using cinnamon on plants that genuinely need consistent moisture, where letting the soil dry isn't realistic in the first place. It's also worth being honest about where cinnamon stops being useful. In a severe established infestation, swarms of adults, larvae visible throughout the pot, multiple plants affected, a surface dusting alone isn't going to resolve it. That level of infestation is where commercial growers bring in additional tools. Beneficial nematodes that target larvae directly in the soil, or a soil drench, alongside the same sanitation steps we've covered. Cinnamon was never meant to replace that. It's one piece of an integrated strategy, not a stand-in for it. What ties it all together, for growers and home gardeners alike, is the same principle repeated in every professional greenhouse. Control the moisture, remove the food source, and monitor what's actually happening, not just what you can see flying past your face. So here's the real picture put together. Fungus gnats aren't a surface problem. They're a soil problem wearing a surface disguise. The adults you see are just a visible tip of a cycle that started with moisture, organic matter, and eggs you never saw being laid. Cinnamon fits into that picture as exactly what it is, a natural, low-risk way to make the soil surface less hospitable, not a pesticide, and not a guaranteed fix on its own. Used consistently, alongside proper drying between waterings, clear debris, and a sticky trap to track real progress, it becomes one working part of strategy that actually addresses a cycle instead of just a symptom. That's the difference between spraying the same 5 gnats every week for months and finally watching numbers on that trap start to drop and stay down.